Hey, what's up guys, it's Nin here coming at you with another group PvP heal spec. This time the Rogue's Bard Tactician Hybrid. Now there are quite a few PvP Rogue heal specs ranging from 61 Bard to even 61 Tactician. And then there's also a bunch of degrees of hybrids in between. Bard is a very strong AoE heal spec that also provides raid buffs, and Tactician builds are capable of providing a little bit of single target heal while also providing some very powerful AoE healing and AoE damage. What I'm going to show you is a hybrid, this hybrid spec that I prefer to use in PvP, and I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit of how it works. To start off, the build itself, what I use is 40 Bard and 36 Tactician, and then I use Riftstalker as a tertiary 0-point soul. I feel that this point spread works best as I am able to pick up all of the typical raid buffs and debuffs from Bard to help amplify my teammates' effectiveness, as well as providing some useful healing buffs from Tactician to boost my own healing output. The reason for the 40 points in Bard is so that I can pick up the AoE debuff Coda of Cowardice. It increases the physical damage that the enemies take by 5%. Coda of Cowardice as well as Coda of Distress are very great at debuffing groups of enemies and basically just assuring they go down faster. Additionally, with these 40 points in Bard, you're also able to pick up the 5 of 5 points in Reverberation. Now, Reverberation gives your Coda finishers a chance to apply a stacking buff that increases attack power by 8% per stack, so giving a total of 40% increased attack power if you have a full stack of 5. Now this is particularly important because you have to understand that in this spec, all of your heals scale with attack power. Both your Bard and your Tactician heals, all of them scale with it. So this Reverberation really gives some great power to your heals. As you've already noticed from the video, I am not using Cadence to heal. And if you look at the build, I also didn't put any points in Invigorated Soul because I'm not using Cadence. Now, the reason for this is because I picked up, in Tactician, I picked up Restorative Engine. From what I have tested, and I'm sure plenty of people can agree with me on this, the only time that Cadence will provide superior healing over Restorative Engine is when you have enough points in Bard to pick up multiple oscillations. That's the only time. Restorative Engine provides heals to 10 team members, whereas Cadence only heals 5 team members. And that stays true until you have multiple oscillations. With multiple oscillations, as your Cadence does damage to multiple people, that also multiplies the number of your heals that go out. Of course, with this hybrid, you don't even come close and you aren't able to pick up multiple oscillations, so Cadence is not effective at healing for this type of hybrid. The points in Tactician, I went 36 points so that I could pick up Primer Amplification as well as Curative Remote, as well as also picking up a lot of points for increased healing and increased survivability. Okay, so to jump into the general rotation for this spec, first things first, apply all of your motifs. Your motif of Bravery, Tenacity, and Regeneration. This way you can get up your Resonance as fast as possible. Then you're going to go ahead and go into spamming your Builder macro. I'm going to put the macros in the description below. But it basically starts off with Curative Core followed by Empyrean Bolt. Curative Core has a 15-second duration and a 15-second cooldown. So this way you're going to ensure that it gets maximum uptime. Once you have built 5 combo points, you should use a coda, any of the codas, as your first finisher. That way you can refresh all your motifs and they're basically synchronized. And this is also going to proc your Reverberation for your attack power buff. And then you're going to return to the Empyrean Bolt spam with your macro until you have 5 combo points. For this next finisher, you're going to use Curative Blast. And then from there on, you're just going to alternate between a Coda and then a Curative Blast. This way you can maintain all of your buffs. You also want to manually apply your Curative Remote from time to time. preferably on a target that you know is going to be attacked, maybe a healer or someone who's standing in the middle of AoE. The reason this is not in the spam macro is due to the fact that it has a cooldown that is shorter than its duration, so you do not want to needlessly reapply it prematurely, considering that it does consume a global cooldown. One thing that you see in this video, there was a couple of times where I noticed that the group was not taking severe damage, so I was able to skip using Curative Blast and instead was able to continue on with the debuffing of the opposing team with the, Coda of Cowardice, Distress, or even a couple times I threw Coda of Jeopardy on the opposing healers. Now, regarding the use of Battle Remote, I personally like to pop it once I have 5 combo points just before a Curative Blast. Now this way, if necessary, I can then squeeze in Coda of Restoration before the buff expires, and with a full 5 combo point Coda of Restoration. Now, as far as the DPS aspect of this hybrid build, it's not so much there to put numbers out, but really there is a snare in your Glacial Torrent, and then you could also alternate between your Glacial Torrent and your Infernal Torrent for a decent buff, but it's nothing significant, it's nothing to count on, and really it's only used for defending an objective from being picked up or captured. So yeah, that's about it. That's the general rotation for this spec. As you can see, the heals, they're not particularly big, it's just the sheer amount of them and the fact that they all affect at least 10 members of your party. You do have your motif of regeneration, which does affect 20 people, which is great, but the heals themselves aren't particularly big. It's just the fact that there's so many of them going out at the same time that you are able to produce some really good heals. So anyhow, if you thought this video was helpful and informative, go ahead and give this video a like, a thumbs up, that way other people can find it and it'll be able to help them out too. Until next time, peace. Oh, and before I forget, hey, Noobzilla, thanks for the shout out earlier today. It was much appreciated. Even though I got my ass handed to me. Thanks.